We want to get straight to breaking news in the Brian Kohberger trial. Jordan Smith is live in Boise this morning, where Kohberger is expected to change his plea to guilty for the murder of 4 University of Idaho students. Jordan?
Yeah, that's right, Robin. A stark change in this case. For 2.5 years, Brian Kohberger has maintained his innocence in this case, and now he's going to walk that back later this morning and change his plea to guilty for the murders of Ethan Chapin, Xana Kernodle, Madison Mogen, and Kaylee Gonsalves. And throughout this entire process, throughout this marathon of court hearings, we haven't heard Kohberger speak in court since his arraignment. And when the judge asked him if he understood the charges he was facing, he gave them simple one-word responses. And since then, his attorneys have done the talking. But in order to enter a guilty plea, a defendant must enter the plea himself. No one can enter it on his behalf. So, hours from now, Kohberger is expected to admit to breaking into that Moscow home on the morning of November 13th and murdering those 4 students.
I would prefer to see something a little more involved than your typical factual basis for a plea that involves, a real confession here by Kohberger. And I hope we see something like that. We still might, but given the speed that they're doing this, I kind of doubt we will.
Now, the defense ordinarily would have to provide some sort of factual basis for pleading guilty, so it'll be interesting to see if any new information about this case will be disclosed. But unless Kohberger or the defense offers up any information, likely a lot of questions will still kind of go unanswered, including the motivation behind these murders, why these students were chosen, and again, the question of where that murder weapon is, Robin.
Yeah, we all want answers. And Jordan, people behind you, there's a line growing that's been outside the courthouse for hours. Who will actually be allowed in the courtroom, and who will be there today?
Yeah, so family of the victims will be allowed in. That line behind me is mostly made up of reporters. It's about 30 people deep at this point. But we do know that Ethan Chapin's parents will be in court today to support this plea agreement. We also know that Madison Mogen's parents will be releasing a statement after today's hearing. And we found out last night, too, that Kohberger's parents are on the way. They should be here for this hearing as well, though they have asked the media and the public to respect their privacy through this process. We don't expect to hear from them today. Reporting live in Boise this morning, Jordan Smith, 4 News Now. Robin.
Jordan, thanks so much. And families of the victims have been speaking to national news sources and on social media, sharing their thoughts on Kohberger changing his plea. Kaylee's father, Steve Gonsalves, talked with CNN's Jim Sciutto.
This isn't what we should be doing. You don't deal with terrorists, and you don't deal with people who kill your kids in their sleep. So, we'll never see this as justice.
The family of Ethan Chapin telling Boise news station KTVB they support the plea deal. In a statement sent to that station, posted on Instagram, saying the Chapins will be in Boise tomorrow, July 2nd, in support of the plea bargain. That statement was sent from Ethan's mom, Stacy Chapin. And stay with us all day for Jordan's continuing coverage of Brian Kohberger's plea hearing on 4 News Now and on KXLY+.